weird to build without other people. So
I don't know why it switched to that.
but we'll do something. Yeah. We'll make something.
You're good, buddy. I'm gonna pin your video and
pin my video.
You the man.
You have to pin my video. Okay. So ready to go?
Yep. It's all you.
All me.
So.
Okay. Well, a little introduction. I did a little who I was earlier in the previous class. I'm not sure how many of you were actually in that or not in that, but I am Ricky Cloutier, and I am the owner of CCL Controllers. We started building controllers back a few years ago. Back in the Clyde Lindsay days, when he did his first ammo box build. So that's when we kind of built one like his and videoed it, and it kind of morphed into currently what we do now. So we have a full line of Falcon controllers that we sell on our website, anything from a receiver to, 48 with a receiver to like triple receivers to F-16s with expansions, etc. And then we actually just developed a culp line. The culp line is currently not available on our website. That's actually available on J.R. Maddow's design sites. He's actually selling all of the culp controllers currently that we make. So we have a vast selection of culp stuff as well. I'm not sure how many of you are how many just wanting to see Falcons. I said there was supposed to be a build group, and basically, the last one we did, people bought the kits. We had the kits available on our site up until like 2 days ago, I think. And basically, if you bought a kit, we'd build it together, and I could, help you guys out. But since no one got kits, we're going to change this one up a little bit. And they gave me 2 hours of 3 controllers. And what was it, like it's a Culp 8 PB, because I couldn't get a regular, they're out of the regular 8s. Then we're going to do a 40, and we're going to do a receiver. But since that all kind of got changed, we can build something. We can go over some tips and tricks. We can all just chat. But I mean, we definitely got to do something here. We got a couple hours of doing something. What is everyone thinking that they would like to see? I mean, I can talk about myself for a little bit longer if you want. We're going to be offering kits and plates. We have a few kind of like flagship controllers that we do. That's our big ones. For instance, like this guy here. This is a F-16 in a bud box with 2 power supplies. So this one's kind of like, we sell a lot of these. This one's really popular in the commercial stuff now. And then in the same box, we also offer this with a 4-port above it. So it's the same controller, 2 power supplies. And then what we actually just came out with not too long ago is when Dan came out with his K16, we actually built a plate that will accept the K16 in the same box. So you can do the double stacking power supplies and put the K16 here and build the same exact box. And so these plates will be available pretty soon. We just haven't quite gotten that far to sell them yet. Another cool thing about our plates that we started doing is like all of our holes, we run up through our square now. So when you're running your bolts up through for stacking plates, our holes are square, so the carriage bolts sit in there real nice. So I don't have a K16, or I do have a 32, but I don't have the plate ready. So them are really the only two things I can't build right now. We can talk about it and about what we're going to be doing with those. But I just don't have those right here. Let's stop this video. Full size. There we go. So, let's see here, where am I at? I got 34 of you in here. Oh, wish some of you guys would have bought some kits. This would have been a whole lot easier if I just had a kit to teach you what to do. But since you didn't, let's open up this. Can we unmute people, Ryan? Get some people to kind of,
yeah, they can unmute as they want.
What they want to see. I mean, we can flip this over and we can start putting together like an F16. I have an F40, which is in a really cute little box, which was going to be part of the kit that we're selling. It uses this little power supply here. I gotta switch my camera when we actually start building stuff, but it uses this little guy here, has this little tiny board, and then we can put the 40 on it. This guy right here, and that, again, that's gonna be a little kit that's gonna be in this box. It'll be available. There's one that was available for sale for this presentation. We can kind of go over that. It's so quiet.
What do you guys want to see?
Is there? Why can't I? Where's?
Sorry, I just went to the website and I'm looking at the stuff that you have. So,
Ricky, there's no chat in this Zoom room.
Oh, really?
If you're looking.
Yeah,
for that.
we don't have. Yeah, we don't have chat, so they have to unmic or unmute so they can use their mic.
Yeah, I will find some participation here on what you guys want to see. I mean, so I can flip cameras and we can talk about some of these kits. Now I can tell you like the kits that we've been giving away today. Those are pretty cool, which is basically, it's a CG like this. So you get the CG 1500 box, and then not that one. Yeah. Get the backing plate with it, and then you get the stacking brackets, which these are to dual stack a set of power supplies like this. So you can run 2 power supplies and then put the Falcon on it like this. And then the connectors that go through it. You basically get the whole kit minus the power supplies and the Falcon. Now, another cool thing that we've started doing too, I can kind of, again, I'll give you kind of the evolution. You know, we started building a few years ago and kind of morphed into building more of the custom style controllers, the bigger controllers that no one else wanted to build. And then we started morphing into more of the commercial world, where we started building a lot of BUD stuff. The commercial industry wanted BUD stuff, not CG stuff, which is, you know, normal DIY stuff. And so we started, you know, building different enclosure styles like the, you know, 32026, the 32022, the one I was showing you, some of these smaller ones. But a big problem that we have is all the holes have to be drilled for the glands. And like last year, I don't even know how many holes I physically drilled myself. You got to figure that one box is like 17, 18 holes. And then you get an order of 50 of them times 18 holes. So my arm would be smoked at the end of the night drilling boxes. So this year, thanks to Boscoyo, who helped us out through the winter, spec out and order a CNC. We got CNC to our shop in the door there. So we cut a custom jig, so we can actually cut all our own boxes now, which is really cool. I can cut like this particular box here, 32026. We cut this one on our CNC, so we can lay it in there, and it has we have custom jigs, so we can do 2 different BUD boxes. We can do all the CGs. So like these boxes are even cut on there. I mean, I know it looks like 4 holes, but they're 3 different 3-bit changes in a drill to make it happen. Put it in there, hit the button. Seconds later, I have 4 holes, and they're perfect every single time. So that's a cool addition, saving us time. Your speaker's not working. Can you hear me? Speaker's not working. Please check your connection.
It's just cutting out occasionally.
Okay. It's weird.
Oh, now we lost it entirely.
There. That better?
Okay.
Yes.
There we go. Yep.
Okay. Let's see if that stays working.
I thought it was on my end. I'm like, oh crap, I gotta go
that's
yell
weird.
at my
I haven't had a
kids.
problem all day. All of a sudden it says your speaker's not working. Please check your connection. Use it.
You added that other camera.
Oh, it's true. I did add another camera, so maybe it got angry because I was going to add a camera to kind of show what we were going to build over here. Let's see here. Where was I at? Oh, yeah. So we're cutting everything on CNC now. All of our boxes. We cut our own plates. And then we ramped up. We actually built this room in our shop. It's actually pretty big. Look way down there. We have a lot of area to build controllers. So last year we built a lot of them inside my house because of it's Alabama, and it's currently 110
in the shop.
It's 110 in that half of the shop and like 115 outside. So
Wow.
it gets really hot. So building controllers, it's ridiculous. So we built this shop to be able to house everything we're doing commercially. So I guess no one's really shouting out and being like, hey, let's build some stuff.
Yeah, I would just say just build the kit that you're doing in the giveaway in the raffle.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, just
Sounds
do
like a
that
plan.
one.
We can do that. Let me see if I can switch the camera. Let's see if we can make this work. That camera right there.
Oh, there.
Look at that.
Yeah, nice.
That's perfect.
Yeah, look at that. That's pretty
Good top
yeah.
down.
What's that?
It's a good top down view.
Beautiful. Okay, so we will start out with. I've already assembled 2 of these. Give me 2 more power supplies, Zach, please. I'll get my focus. Stay focused. Number 5 volts on the right. So, like I said, we did develop these plates a couple years ago, and they're nothing too, crazy about them. They're just, we actually print these ourselves. We sell these, and they're made to just double up a power supply like this. So basically, you get your power supplies. I'm making Zach get a couple new ones because we'll go ahead and just assemble them real quick. So basically, it allows you to stack your power supplies. It allows, camera's crazy. It allows you to stay stacking distance, so you can still get you all your screws.
Actually, we don't sell those on the website yet.
And we're supposed to sell them on the website. Our website guy has been a little busy building stuff, so it's been a little more difficult. So we'll just start out and we'll just build this controller.
You changing them yet, or are you showing the feature of the brackets? The new version of brackets.
Which one?
The new version
So,
of those brackets compared
Always
to
flip your switches. When you're building some controllers, not so much this one, but when you're building like say this guy here, this will end up being a 32026 with 4 power supplies. When you're building him, and all of his power supplies are like this, and you get them all built, and then you realize that you forgot to flip the switch in there. It really is that your stuff don't come alive, and then you start looking, and you're like, ah, crap, I left it in 220. Now, some of the vendors actually flip them before they buy them, but again, we buy them in bulk. No one's flipping them for me.
that
so-
version of our stacking brackets. That's not as big of a deal.
Yes. Now, yeah, our old stacking brackets were actually full length on this. So when you actually put these together like this, that it covered over the whole thing. So you couldn't actually flip them after. So it was a solid piece, and we have recently changed that to a dual bracket. So if you do forget, you can somehow wiggle in there to get it. Now, the screws for like these brackets here, which you'll get in a kit, these are M46s. The 6s are the perfect length to go through. I forget you're over here. The 6s are the perfect length to go through the bracket and connect on the power supply, because they're approximately 1/8 of an inch thick. Where most backing plates that people sell, like these black ones, are ABS. They're 3/16 thick. So when you actually bolt through a backing plate like that, you're going to need a M8, an M4x8. The 6s are just not long enough for 3/16. Again, if anybody wants to speak up, I'm cool with that. I know a lot of presenters have had, hey, we've been muting, but I'm cool with like questions as we're building. I actually prefer interaction, because then I feel like I'm not just kind of talking from the workbench here.
Yeah, I think you're getting a couple messages. Your audio breaks up every so often. We'll just have you repeat yourself if it does. But it's few and far and in between, so it's not bad.
Let me try to switch this real quick.
Yeah, just every once in a while you get robotic.
Yeah, well, if it happens, we'll let you know so you can repeat.
Okay. Is this one any better? I switched to this camera.
Oh,
yeah,
wow. Yeah, much
clearer.
Okay. Yeah. Again, I added a second camera just for this. So normally I'm over here, and I think it's mad. So
got jealous of the other
I
camera.
got jealous of the normal camera and camera.
So do you 3D print those little brackets yourself?
I sure do.
Those are really cool.
Yeah, we print these. We print piles of them. We have 2 3D printers. I have the bigger Persa Mach 3S, and I have a Mini as well. And so yes, we print these. The other brackets that we actually print are the double stacking brackets. I have some right here. Is that? Yeah, I got that right here off. So we also print these guys here. So these brackets actually bolt on the bottom of a power supply like this. And we actually have arrows on them, so they go forwards and they bolt on like this. And then these actually let you stack 3 tall or 2 tall. So like, I know a lot of you probably have seen the kits that Ken is selling. Ken actually has all of our plates and brackets. We actually gave him the file for this, and he actually cuts them on a CNC, which we do as well. These are the same brackets, not printed. They're cut on CNC. These only have 2 holes because they're only going dual stack. I have a pile of them over here, and it just saves CNC time by not putting that 3rd hole.
Yeah.
But we sell these on the website as well. So these allow you to do your double stacking, triple stacking in the boxes. I said we come up with those back 2-3 years ago.
They do not fit in CGs.
Yeah, and those do not fit in CGs. Those are this is pretty much what you got to do for a CG.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Now we've basically done your we've stacked these. So now you have a 2 power supply. And then this is not the right plate. This plate is for these are both for 40. Yes. No, this one's not. Never mind. This one's right. Okay.
That one's not a 48. But actually, that's the old plate. I didn't change it when I cut it.
Oh, that's why. Okay.
That's the old plate.
Sorry. So we're gonna mount this on this. Now I like my controllers on the left side. My power is on the left side. So when you open your case,
It's on the hinge side.
but let me move this up just a little more. So it actually goes on the hinge side. That's just my preference. All my controllers are done that way. If you buy a ready to run from like David Pitts, they're this way. He runs his up this side. it don't make a difference. It's a preference thing. To me, it makes sense up the left side. So what we're gonna do is flip him over. And like I said, you can't use the M4x6s now because the plate's thicker. So you got to use M4x8s for this. And again, this will all be included in the kit you guys get if you win. I know Kendall Walker won one. If he's still in here, he can pay attention because he's got to build one of these. He's got to come get it first.
Yeah, he's here, I think.
Yeah, I'm gonna make him come get it.
Yeah.
He lives less than an hour from me, and
yeah, Ricky, you go build it for me.
and, Kendall has a huge show too. So every time I think I'm catching him on my show size, he goes out and buys like another 20 or 30,000 pixels or something. So that's basically it on this plate here. Now we can actually assemble the Falcon. Which I hope this plate works. Yeah. Okay. It should work. So I have these really cool spacers that I use to space up my boards. They're actually a little bit soft. And the biggest problem most people have is when you put your bolts through, which for these bolts here, I use a M4x16. And I like the Allen head style bolts, if you can see them or not, but I like the pan Allen heads. That's all I use.
Yeah.
Kind of tell
More
myself
sheen
apart.
looking.
Yeah, they're a nice looking bolt.
Definitely.
The problem most people have is when they flip their board upside down, their screws fall out for one. But then when you go put the spacers on and you try to flip it back on the plate, your spacers fall off. So a little trick I do with these spacers, if I can find my needle nose pliers because Zach stole them, is I actually take these little spacers with my needle nose pliers and I just squeeze them. So now I egg shape them just a little bit. And I'll egg shape a pile of them when I'm building these that I'll mass quantity these. So now once they're like this, I can flip the board up, hold the screw. You can kind of squeeze it back just a little bit and slide it on.
Wow.
Move the next screw.
That's really a good idea.
Squeeze it. And then hold the screw. Squeeze it on. And then the fourth one. Squeeze
I
it on.
needed to learn that trick about a month and a half ago.
Yeah, right?
So now my bolts stay in because the things are squeezed holding them on. And I can flip it over this way.
No, yeah.
And they all stay on.
Yeah, that's sweet.
Well, that's a good little trick of the trade.
Now, once you build this, of course, your plate will stand up now because now you've built yourself like a little working table. And you can stick your board through. Grab your nuts. I use lock nuts on mine. I don't necessarily think you need to, but I just do. That way I know in shipping or whatever,
Yeah, I was gonna say shipping for you.
you won't, I know they don't loosen up. They said we do a lot of commercial stuff. We're actually in a big commercial build right now. And we're like 100 and probably 60 controllers total.
Goodness.
It's a pretty sizable one.
Wow.
So when we start building, building all that, you want to make sure all this stuff stays together. Where is the screwdriver for that? Oh, it's right here. Oh, dang. I think that's me. Dang. Sorry. Now, another thing too, is I like this little screwdriver kit I buy. It's like a little Craftsman screwdriver kit. It seems to work well for all this. And you don't need, now we're not torquing a head bolt on a 454 Chevrolet. So you don't need to go until something goes snap. You can just snug it. Again, that's just kind of nice too about the lock nuts is once you just bring it up so the spacer's not rattling the board, you're good. Then it's not going to loosen up. Another good reason to do that. Now we're going to manually wire this one, which I don't normally do because I have exact lengths and bends for pretty much everything now. But in the sake of teaching you guys, we're going to do it the old way. Now we have basically they're dinging. They're dinging us. Okay. So now we basically have our chassis. So now we've got to wire this guy up. Let's get some wire over here, and I just need, I was gonna get some off. Yeah, lost. That should be enough. Red. And I always use 10 gauge wire, except for receivers, unless the receivers are like duals or something like that, where there's some distance on them. If I'm running a small receiver, like this is the receiver. I build a lot of these. The wire is so short here. It's literally like 2 inches or less. And so I use, that's 12 gauge. There's plenty, you know, being that short, 12 gauge is fine. But anything longer than that, I always use 10 gauge. I know a lot of people complain about 10 gauge, but honestly, I prefer working with 10 gauge over 12 gauge because it stays stiffer.
Yeah, the bends stay when you
Yeah, it stays a
do
lot
the
stiffer.
bend. You're not fighting it.
You want to get yourself a piece off like this.
Mhm.
And I mean, you kind of straighten it out. That's kind of what I do. I just kind of give it a stretch out, kind of give it a straighten out a little bit. And I'll start wiring this thing. Now, this is actually no. Well, this is one of the ones that was sent from Robert Petty to rebuild. So I'm seeing if somebody else some things. This one's been done before. And tried to fix it with yeah, no problem. This will be one of Robert Petty's. Is Robert Petty in here? Is there one? There's someone in here named. What was he naming himself? No.
Nope, no Robert Petty.
Yeah, it's too bad. So he gives me crap a lot. So I have 3 different type of strippers. I have these strippers, which work really well. They work good for shorter wires. They work good for 10 gauge wire. I like those for that. And then I have these wires, these strippers here, which work good for power cords, 12 gauge. These are good for stripping cable when you need to like pull more case off, like extension cords or pigtails, etc. That's what's nice about these. I like those for that. And then my third set is like an old pair of these. These are actually from Macco. And these are great for basically pigtails, smaller wires and stuff. So I always have 3 pair of strippers here on my table. We use a lot of them. Now the trick to this here is you don't want a lot of wire. I don't know how well this is transposing, but you don't want a lot of wire here because they're going into these connectors, and you don't want a lot of wire hanging out the back. So I like to keep those short. Let's start with the ground here.
What's your opinion about people using ferrules or those kind of connectors for things like this?
Yeah. I was going to get there in a minute.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was going to ask that. I didn't know how far along I should
We're
ask.
getting to ferrules. I was going to get there in a minute. Let's
I remember that post I did, and now I was second guessing
start with
myself.
this,
So
start with this part. Now, some people do ferrule into this. I would never ever ferrule into the power side. I wouldn't ferrule anything on one of these controllers. We can talk about it when I'm bending. It's fine. Some people will put basically a ferrule over top of this, and then they'll crimp it with a ferrule crimper. And if you're not super good with the crimpers, or you don't have a good ferrule crimper, a lot of times they won't make a good connection here. The other thing with a ferrule is it's a mechanical connection unless you physically solder it to this wire. So when you're putting your wire into this connector here, you're making a mechanical connection between the crimp and this wire. So if you put a ferrule on, you're making a mechanical connection between a ferrule and this wire. So now what you've done is made a mechanical connection between this and a ferrule, and now you're going to make a second mechanical connection between a ferrule in the power. So now you have doubled your chances of something being a little bit loose, creating heat, power draw, etc. So I would never ever ferrule power here. We get to the power over here. I'll show you what I do to run into these. Some people like the forks. If you're going to use the forks, solder them on. Because again, what you're doing is you're creating yourself another mechanical connection over another mechanical connection. When these screws will grab that wire just as good as that crimp, unless you solder it. Now, if you solder it on the wire, now you have a good bite on that wire, then you can use the forks. So that's why I don't use either one. I'd rather just hardwire them in, just like this. Now, here's another trick, because I can tell you, this is a used board. This is actually one for Robert Petty that he sent me to build. Robert Petty was like on a spending spree like a couple weeks ago. And if anybody was sold anything used online, he bought it and shipped it to me. So it was like every day I was getting boards and stuff going, hey man, build this, build this. But people mess up this connector right here.
Yeah.
It's a pretty big one to mess up. So what I do is once I snug them just a little bit with my screwdriver, like that, I'll actually grab this connector with a pair of needle nose pliers like this. So now I have that connector real good and strong. And then I'll take my screwdriver and I'll come down on those screws. And I'll make a nice solid connection right here, like that. Now I know that's good and tight. I haven't messed up my connector. And it's all good. So that's my trick to tightening up on these, is grab them with needle nose and hold them and then come onto them, because otherwise you'll break them. I've seen people break them.
Oh yeah.
They're hot glued on. I'm not sure why they're hot glued on. I think that's just the case. A lot of people don't know that these little cases actually come up off and the studs up through there, and they feel that because that's loose, everything's loose, spite is hot. So okay, well, back to wiring. So this is how I do it. If you're gonna do it the manual way, like this, like I said, I know what everything needs to do here, but you're obviously not gonna have all my jigs. So again, I like the needle noses, and I like my orange ones better that Zach stole from me.
Well, that's because I gotta build all your controllers.
Zach, don't you have a class to be in?
No, I don't.
Sorry, Zach's my son. He's the brains of our department. He everything happen here. He makes all our website stuff. He does all of our CAD stuff for the CNC. He does all of our programming for our Christmas show. He does all that. So I just take my needle nose pliers again. I don't know how well it's going to show, but I kind of hold the wire like that. Maybe.
What if I hold the camera?
No, you're good. I just kind of hold the wire now. So again, I'm holding it stiff, and then I just kind of bend it with my thumb like that. And I'll be able to do better as we go around the corner here. And then I'll grab the wire here, like that. And I just kind of bend it around the pliers. So now I've basically made a nice U shape here. It's a little bit bigger than I wanted it, but we'll get it in the box. Then I'll grab my next wire, and I'll do the same thing. U it, let's get it over. So now both these wires, again, kind of laid right on top of each other.
Nice.
Like that. I'm just going to bring them over here, stretch them out. I know that the ground needs to go here, so I'm fine as long as it hits right in here. So I've done enough of these. I pretty much know where I need to cut it. So we'll cut this guy off here. Cut this guy off right here. Okay. We'll deal with those here in a minute. Let's come back over here and finish wiring this guy up. This next one up. Another thing too with a Falcon is remember that the two powers are the ones in the middle, and then the two grounds. I have like hooked them up the other way before. Don't hurt nothing, it just don't work. No.
See a lot of people do that too.
And it's pretty common. More common than what you think. To do that. So I said, this is basically, you know, you're ready to run the style controller. Again, I'm gonna hold this here I'm gonna finish typing those here. First, get them out of my way. I'm gonna come over here, grab all 3 of them, and bend that one up. This guy, bend it over top. This time I'm gonna grab all 4 of them and bend them up. So now I can get all 4 of them nice and together. While I'm right here, let's grab this connector real well. Now, another thing too, we don't have to do it on this controller because this thing's just going to curl up. This right here is just going to curl up too. Knock over my runs. That'd be a bad day if I knock over. I love runs. Just so everyone knows.
I don't think I've ever seen those before.
Runs? Never seen runs? Oh, these things are awesome.
No.
Like
Is that a southern thing?
Then you got like a banana shaped ones, and you know, I think I made all the banana ones, but they're awesome. I always have tons of candy on the table, so I'm gonna keep it going. Okay, so now we've cut them all up here. Now on this particular controller, because the Falcons are bridged together on the ground, you don't actually have to make the connection between the 2 power supplies on the negatives because it's done within the board. But let's say you were building a 32 output. So you're going to put an expansion on this sucker and do 32 outputs, which you can't do in this box unless you don't want the lid to go on, which I guess you could then. But at that point, there's a chance that you might be sharing power across props differently. So that's when you run into the ground issues. So at that point, what I would do on like a 4 power supply, and what I always do on a 4 power supply unit with a 32, is I'll connect the V minus and the V minus here. And then I'll run a power from this V minus over to another set here, and I'll jump the V minus. So all 4 V minuses are looped together. So that way I know that the 2 boards have a good ground between them all. So that's not my question to people, where they're like, what one do we hook together? Is it the neutral on the power supply? Is it, is it the ground? No, it's not. It's the V minus on the DC side. You want the V minus to the next one, V minus, and so on and so on. Those are the ones you connect together. I know I've seen that question on the forums. So
I have one more question with that too on the power supply, because I've seen some pictures that some people have it on the ground coming in on the 110 side, grounded to the negative on the 12 volt side. Is that needed?
No.
The power supply should do that internally.
The
Okay.
power supply does that.
Yeah, the crossover right there where your thumb's at.
Yes. No, I don't ever hook those. No.
Okay.
I've never ever done that. Now I am going to connect these 2 together. They're going to share one power cord here in a little bit.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
We're going to loop that one into this one and vice versa for power and ground. But no, I'll never go this way.
Yeah, you don't do that.
Don't do that. Bad things happen if you do that.
Don't mix AC and DC like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen some pictures like that, and I'm just like, I don't know about that.
So now basically on these, we're going to cut these a whole lot longer than the other side, because we're going to make these so they go onto these screw terminals. I'm going to cut these, and then we're going to bend them in.
I really like that stripper.
I got this one. This is a Klein. They have them at home.
I bought one of those last year. Holy moly, they are a life game changer.
I am totally digging that. Yeah.
What I did do with mine, you guys can see the white paint marker on it and the yellow dot. So that's basically, that's the 12 gauge hole. And then the 10 is obviously the bigger one. So it's easier for me, a quick reference to just see the yellow and slide it in there.
The opposite side, stranded versus solid. Do they have the 2 different sides to it?
No, mine's just the closer part.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah, they're just.
Cool,
I know these came from Home Depot.
Yeah, just bought a set.
Zach just bought a set. They work really well. especially on 10 gauge, because 10 gauge can be a real bear.
I'm putting that in my notepad, so it's important.
Now we're just going to bend all these over, so they're going to hit the power supply. They're going to bend all them over like that. So now they're ready. As you can see, I got a good, I don't even know how much wire sticking out. I mean, I almost cut off about 5/8 of an inch or so. But here's the trick on these is, again, I love this little screwdriver. This came from Walmart. Yeah, it's like a kit from Walmart, and I really use the heck out of it. But it's got a great big flat on it. It's like my favorite flat. But now I'll just basically, so I'll take these right here. I put them over my hand, and I'll take the screwdriver right in the middle of all these strands, and I'm just going to fork that wire just like that.
That's awesome. Yeah.
See how I fork that just like that. So if you fork them, now I've just made a fork. And I didn't have to crimp another fork on them. See? So now they're going to go around the screws just fine. And they're going to slide in there because 10 gauge don't fit on one side very well. It don't look clean.
No.
It don't do well. But if you fork them all like this, it does.
Well, the tools of the trade right here, man.
Yeah, I know. I'm giving away all my secrets. You guys can all be building.
You are. I'm loving this. My notepad, I got a page just for Ricky's build.
Okay. Here's another trick of mine. Okay. This is these are $99 at Home Depot. And it's an electric screwdriver. It's the Makita, I don't even know which one it is. Milwaukee, I'm not Makita. Milwaukee.
It's an M12.
But what's
Yeah,
cool
12.
about it is, okay, so it uses the quick connect on it, right? So you can, it's just a quick connect, end. But it also has torque on it. So I know, like, for power supplies, I like an 8 torque, where I'll use like the 4 torque on like pass-throughs or stuff like that. So, and then I just get a nice number 2, and I'll basically grab this, and I'm going to loosen up that screw like that. I'm going to slide that forked wire in there. Sorry if you can't see very well. And then it clicks, and I know it's good. Let's bend that over. I'm going to come over here.
Yeah, Ricky, we know you blocked that on purpose.
And slide that on there. I'll show you guys a close-up here in a minute, even though Kendall don't think I'm going to. Again, I back screw, pretty much I take the whole thing right out. I end up like, taking pretty much the whole nut off. And then I just, end up sliding it in here. Same thing here. We've almost got ourselves a controller.
Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding.
Okay, so now that's all tied together here. Again, the screwdriver really makes life nice. Now I'll kind of take my wires here now. And I'm going to take a second here. I'm just going to kind of pull them. I'm kind of straightening them out. Let's see if I can flip it up on that here. So we're kind of like right here. I'm kind of just pulling them out. I want them all to lay in real nice right here together. I don't mind that they curl up here. And then I kind of roll these over. And then once we put the power cord on it, we're going to zip tie all this nice and tight. And we'll straighten out all this and make this all look nice and clean and make it look professional. And that's our goal. It's professional looking. Okay, so basically this part's done. So now let's move on to the box because we got to finish putting in there. I'm going to need Zach to get me a power cord, and I'm going to need Zach to get me pigtail numbers, 1 through 16. And we'll use X connect, which are in that box. Yeah. So let's grab the box. Let's assemble the box you guys are gonna get. So here's the box. Move this thing back out a little bit more. I drill them for 2 1-inch connectors here. It takes a 1-inch connector to get 8 wires in. If I'm doing like dual receivers in this, because I'll do the 2 double stacking power supplies and 2 dual receivers, then I'll just do 2 3/4-inch holes out here. If I'm doing a F48 in the same box, I do the 1-inch holes so you can run your Ethernet cables in. And then if we do a 48 with a receiver on it, I'll actually change out the power and turn it into a 3/4. And I can show you guys those boxes too. So now I just use, do I have a couple here? Stand up here. So these are just 1-inch non-metallic connectors. I get them from Home Depot. I buy them in the big bucket. They're a little expensive, but they're not too bad. You're gonna print those off for me?
Yeah.
Okay. It's kind of weird doing this one. I'm gonna do it this one. Show you guys after. Now, take a set of lines and pliers here once you get started here. Well, no, just snug them up just like that. Snug them up like that. Keep them somewhat straight. Don't look crazy. So basically your 2 1-inch connections. Yeah. And then, because on a 1500, I don't ever use these guys here. I'll use a PG9 gland, and the PG9 is going to go right here. That's going to be for your power. A PG9 gland, if you're drilling the hole, it's 5/8. You can get a 5/8 bit at like Home Depot or whatever. If you're drilling a PG7, which is the one for pigtails, the normal pigtail one, that's actually a 1/2 inch, and I'll buy those at Harbor Freight, and I buy the step bit kit, and I found that this guy seems to, I mean, I can get 100 and something boxes out of this one bit without any problems. And then the other thing I do, I just started this year. In years past, I've used just a 12-inch patch cable, so people didn't have to come in with their internet, their Ethernet. I've done male to female connectors where I had a male on one side, it came out with a little whip, and I've done different things, and none of them have been ideal. So I kind of moved on to just using the panel connectors that everyone else that uses in the better boxes. So all my controllers now come with these in them, and it's a cleaner look. You don't have a thing hanging out. You can just plug your Ethernet into it. And they're the ones, I mean, like I said, Ken sells these. Now I don't sell them with the other cap goes on because you have to cut the wire to build it. And I find that 90% of the people throw them away, so I don't bother with those. I just send them like this. I suggest filling them with dielectric grease, and you won't ever have a problem with them. I usually use my drill for this too. I actually have an extension. I'll put my socket on for these. Because usually I do like 20 at one shot, and I'll build like a whole pile of boxes, and then I'll move on to building some other stuff. But now we got that done. So now our box is ready. Don't want those ready. Should I do power? I'll show them after. We're not there yet. Don't be excited. You want to put them on? We can do it pretty fast. We'll have this one built here. How did I start this class at 4? Oh yeah, we'll be done this one soon. Maybe we'll build like something else. So this right here, these boards I actually get from Ken as well over at Wired Watts. They work really well. He has them in 16, 14, and 12 gauge, I think now. but these are 16, and these are 1-2 power supplies. No problem. I know, no, these are 18s. These are the 18s. Sorry, they'll still run 2 power supplies. You want to add a third power supply, make sure you get up to the 16 or whatever. But, let's bring our control over. So you can see we pretty much got all this done. You can kind of see how everything kind of forked out real nice. So now what we're going to do is put the power wire on. So this is how I do the power wires, and it works out well. I cut the tinning off from these so the wires will slot. And basically, I know about how much I need, which is actually it's about the length of the handle here for me. So I kind of do that, and I'll put that's what these second pliers are for, and I can pop this and slide the case off. So it works really well for that. Just give me 1 second. I'm on like 1,500 messages, so I'm just trying to make sure I'm staying on floor. Okay, so basically now I've stripped this wire back. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to use the same pliers. I'm actually going to pop these in the middle. So what I've done is I just broke the case there, and these pliers seem to work really well for that. And then I take these because it's not big enough. So I know I have different ones. But what I've ended up doing is I've now opened these up. Where's my camera? I've opened them up a lot, as you guys can see. I haven't messed up the wires, but I've opened up the case quite a bit. So now what I'm going to do is get my handy drill out again. And I'm actually going to pull all the screws off the bottom power supply right here. I know it's hard for you guys to see, but I took 3 screws out of the power. So now I'm going to do, again, because I've opened this up, I bend it in half like this. And it's all copper here because I've stripped it back far enough. And I'm going to put my screw over top of it, basically like this. And then if I can do this without shaking too much. I'll hit the first one. Second one. The third one. So as you guys can see here, what I've done was I wrapped them around that screw and then I tighten them down. So it makes a good solid connection. What are you going to do, Rob? I can just take that sharp off. There we go. That's that way you can see better. Yeah. So as you can see, they come out like that. So I hook up that bottom power supply. We're gonna come up. I usually just do like a loop. I kind of know what the size is here. I want it to look a certain way, so I'm gonna do that. Actually, I cut these a little longer than I needed to. So, but we're gonna cut that off. Now we're gonna have these 3 wires here. Grab these snippers here. strip these. So now the powers are hooked up. Okay. Oh well. I'm going to pull this kind of tight like this. And I'm going to get me a couple zip ties, which I probably don't have right now. Just a couple, that's all I need that. Just to keep this all nice and neat. Looking good. Kind of make sure all these wires are laid in real nice and pretty. Everything looks good here. Go ahead and do a zip tie on that. I'm gonna throw one on right here. Just don't like how these wires are laying in here. It'll be a little bit of a bear to get that screw the way we did this. We'll make it happen. I've had worse. So right now we've got this, we got our power, we're all cleaned up. Set this in the box. See. So basically I set in the box, all down nice and straight. Thing lays in here. I need set of bins here. These are let's see here, number 8 by 5/8 screws. I use to hook the boards down to. Let's see. I'm building at a weird angle. I'm trying to show you guys what we're doing here. Yeah, so I said this screw is going to be a little bit difficult because of the way we built it, but you just kind of move the wires out of your way and you can get to it. And the only oddball is it's really tight right here. Putting that second power supply in, as you can see. So I end up having, I can't use my screw gun for that. I just have like a magnet tip screwdriver. And if you put it in here, you can slide that magnet tip screwdriver up into here onto that screw. And just tighten that guy out just like that. So keep hitting you guys, sorry. So basically that's where we're at. See, everything fits in there really nice. Now it's a little bit tight in this area right in here with all this. What we're going to do is I'm going to pull that wire back in here so it looks a little nicer like that, and we'll just go ahead and snug that guy up just like so. Okay. Well, I like to just take a second and make sure my wires all look decent and clean and laid in real nice. I'll look at these front wires. I'm going to push those down because now we're getting ready. We're going to throw some pigtails in this thing, and then hopefully it works. Well, I guess we can technically power it up. Before we do that. And look at that, we're booting up. Ta-da! We're gonna put pigtails in that real quick. So now what I do is I got my meter out. I've powered it up, so we know it's working. And my cute little, I have crap everywhere here doing this way. My cute little screwdriver. Special screwdriver. So now what I want to do is I want to put my power leads on this. You guys can see that. It's at 1206. So I want to turn this thing down to about 1298, 1299. I'm sorry, yeah, 11. Ooh, yeah, we're not going to get up to 12.9. 11.99 on the top power supply. Then we'll kind of stick our probes in here. Grab the second power supply. Crap. Sometimes I get too trying to make them perfect. And the screws like, you know, made in China. So you all know how that works. Yeah, close enough. So that's both of those. So now I know the powers are set. Like that. It did come out. We'll worry about plugging everything else here in just a minute. I can't believe I'm retaining like 30 people. That's just crazy. I didn't know it was that exciting. Maybe you guys are, maybe they're napping. Maybe they're napping.
No, we're here.
No, they're not. They're not talking. So
We love you, man. We love you.
you love me.
Yeah, go, go, go.
That's what finally people talking. You guys are like,
We're just waiting for the smoke to come out.
I already plugged it in, no smoke.
Ooh,
Okay.
magic smoke retained.
Now we also put our own label. That's another thing we do. Is we have a printer to print on heat shrink. So we make all our own labels. Basically, sorry, I'm going to bore you for this part. Maybe we can talk about something like.
Are those your logo?
Is that a sand device card?
What's that?
Is that a sand device?
No, it's not a sand device. If it was a sand device, I would have probably already sold it to Jeff because Jeff wants every sand device. So yeah, that's our logo on it. We can actually print anything on it. So we, like I said, we build for a lot of the vendors. Actually, we build for most all the vendors at this point. So we actually customize everyone's pigtails for their own stuff now at this point. Like Tom's, we build all his stuff. We do a lot of work for PPD and Ron, and I mean we do really everybody. So we build a lot of controllers. That's for sure. We should make Zach do some of these 16, 15, 14, 12, 9, 10, 11, 13. That's all you. You do half. I don't want to bore the sport people to death with me sliding. Pigtail.
Do you have any problems with heat?
What's that?
Do you have any problems with as far as buildup?
I'm sorry. Let me slide over here. With what holding up?
Do you have any problems with heat buildup inside the enclosure?
No, not on the CGs. This whole bottom is all basically open. So I haven't had. Now I have had some people request vents. I'll cut a 2-inch vent. You know I'll cut the vent in the lid if people absolutely want it. You know, I'll do like this vent right here. I'll put one in the lid if you absolutely want it. I don't on these. I do put that in the bud box. I do that one on the bud box, the 32022, the one that gets 2 power supplies. And I haven't had any problems that anyone's told me. And I have probably, several hundred out there. And they're all over the country. I mean, they're all over the world. I mean, I sent some, like I said, Australia. I've sent some to Germany. I did a big display in Germany, and I haven't had any problems out of those. The bigger ones, like the 32 or 26s, I always put 2 vents in them. And then if I build the real big monster with 6 power supplies, I put 2 big vents and I put 1 fan to just move the air through. But yeah, these are customizable. We're gonna sell them. I know Ken sells them. These little heat shrink labels. Yeah, there's a bunch of people who sell them. I don't actually like building in the CG boxes myself. I would much rather build with glands. I'd much rather build the butt box. I just like them better. I think they look a lot better. But I mean, this is a great cheap alternative. That's not too bad. It's a little snug. And we're in. I know. I know. Wait until I tell Robert Petty I built one of his controllers. As a matter of fact, if you guys see Robert Petty in one of the groups, I think he's Peacock something is his name. If you see Peacock something or Robert Petty, you gotta tell him you guys saw me build one of his controllers. Him and I we go back and forth about how long it takes me to build those controllers. So, I always make them wait. I actually built one. I might even send them a picture of it. Okay. So now.
So you just made a really big mistake.
I did make a mistake?
Yeah, it's got all the.
Jeff was saying something, but I didn't understand what he was saying at all. He was real broken and unreadable.
What are you doing? Need those pliers. Oh, this one had the green things on. This one came with the green things on. We're gonna get them out of the way. You guys get to watch me put on green things. Now that's a treat right there. I'm just saying. A real treat. Now, I know these are like everyone's nemesis. I'll show you how you can do 16 of them in like 2 minutes.
I was going to say, you probably got a trick to it.
Trick 1 is I give the bag to my wife and she preps them all for me and unscrews 3 of the screws. Sitting on the couch watching Lifetime movies or whatever, she'll sit there with a little screwdriver and throw them in a bucket. So she does tons of them for me. So when I get them, they're ready to go. Now, like I told you guys, I don't put anything on these. As long as you get them and they're tin nice, like I said, Ken's are tin nice, and I think these actually came from Ray. I have both here. I just got these in from Ken. I don't know if you guys can see it, but they're use that.
Yeah, so you can see the tinning.
Yeah, there you go. So you can see. So it's got a nice clean tinning. If they have a nice clean tinning, and it's like, I don't even know the length of that. I don't even know. It's some millimeter thing. I don't have a millimeter. I got a tape measure because I'm an old school carpenter.
About 3/8.
3/16 of an inch. A nice, a nice, clean enough material. So basically, when you push it in the screen connector, it just puts the case in that connector. Is what you're after. You don't want them so they're short. Otherwise, you're going to screw down the case and not get a connection. You don't want them where they're long and the wires are hanging out. I said some people ferrule them, but again, now I'm going back to you're going to mechanically ferrule this to mechanically screw it into here. To me, it makes no sense. So, but if they're not clean like this, cut them off, strip them. And I've done that to a bunch if they're just not long enough or they're not clean. But I said these are all nice and clean. These are clean. So long as you have a good pigtail, I just do them like this. So, so basically now what I'm going to do, we're going to take these and I slide them in like this.
Make sure you're doing the correct order.
Yeah, make sure I do them the correct order. Now I do have QA for that, so that's that one. That one's on. And as you can see, we're not pulling that one out. It's not coming apart, ever. As a matter of fact, most time I tighten them up so much that you can't reuse the green connector.
Yeah, if you have to take it off.
You have to take it apart. And that's where a lot of people, they fall off and stuff. But when you push them in, you can kind of feel them. Like it gets to a point and you can kind of feel them push in all the way. But you want a decent thin wire to do that. And then again, I found this bit. This is actually a Craftsman bit. It comes with a kit. I've been through like tons of bits to find the right ones that work with these screwdrivers. And this one seems to work the best. There's only a couple of the kit. There's the Craftsman kit. So I get this from Lowe's, and there's like the second and third flat one works perfect for these. And they'll go. I can do probably 1,000 pigtails on one bit before it wears out. And then my Black & Decker from Walmart. I've sourced out many drills, and the old 12-volt lithium Black & Decker from Walmart seems to do this the best. It's nice balance. It's light. It's like the one your grandfather had, that the battery just goes and goes and goes. I mean, it has no power, but the battery don't ever die. It's like the old, there's them blue Makitas. That's what my grandpa had. The blue Makita. He charged the battery probably once his whole life. Had no power, but they'll last like forever and ever. So again, this is kind of like how I do them. You just kind of get a feel for how they have to go in your hand. You kind of feel how they tighten up. But I mean, I've done, I don't know how many thousands. I remember when I first started building controllers back a few years ago, I hand tightened all these suckers. And I used to have calluses. I had calluses on my hands from tightened green connectors. I hated it. It took so long. And then I'm like, there's got to be a better way. Like, I wonder if I can use a drill. It's got to be faster. So we tried different drills, different bits, and I went through a bunch of different. And I didn't find this combination. This combination seems to work.
You pretty much tried every drill and every bit out of the sun.
Yeah. I mean, I've tried, and I've tried other drills. I just don't like the balance. Gotten bits for my other one, the one that torques. I just don't like the way it works for this. This one just seems to be copacetic, and this drill is like $20 at Walmart. So.
How do you do that?
You can get the extended plan for like $1.98 or something. Which I didn't get, but I probably should have. Again, I kind of check them, so after I do them, I always give them a push with my thumb. I know they're not going to fall off, but it's just force of habit. So I always do. And then I will say though, when it gets like midnight and I'm doing this late at night, and I've done a lot of them, occasionally I get my wires crossed. And actually, I'll be putting the blue where the brown is, and the brown where the blue's at, or I'll put the blue where the yellow's at, and the yellow, I don't know, they get a little convoluted. But the beauty is again, we test all of our controllers, and each pigtail gets a set of pixels plugged into it before it leaves our shop.
And you get the new sticker.
And then it gets a cool little sticker, a QA sticker that we started this year, which basically shows that we check the power, the Ethernet. We plug it in, we make sure it gets a network connection. We don't want people to get their controllers and have problems with them. We'd rather catch it here, and if I got a bad board or a bad pigtail or something like that, we want to make sure we catch it. Yeah, now we have had some stuff go bad during shipping that I knew was tested, and it's like it gets there and there's like a weird issue. Receivers are like the worst. I think those things break themselves. Okay, so there's 16 pigtails. Told you it wouldn't take very long to do this. I don't think I bored you yet. Too bad. Just gonna now for the fun part. Let's see. Laying these out so they don't look retarded. Probably the hardest part. You want them to look nice. So I'm going to start here. This is kind of the hardest part to make it look nice. That's why I like a bud, because I'm putting them in individual glands so I can pull them through and they're just nice. And I've laid them in manually before, and I've tried all different ways. There's just no great way to do it. So I kind of try to sort them in the box like this as I'm pulling them through. Sort them and kind of get them how I want them the first time, and then I can always change something if I have to. I need an Ethernet cable too, Zach. It's going to help underneath all this. Go here. And then 7. Of course, they're right there.
So Ricky, while you're doing that, I went to and this is my fault, I didn't go in and check it, but I went into the virtual Christmas Summit build party, and I clicked on your build kits, and the link doesn't go to anything. So that may have been an issue. It says no products were found matching your selection.
We turned it off this morning.
Oh, did you? Okay.
We turned it off this morning because that was all for Summit pricing to build for this kit. So since no one got it actually for the build, we're gonna have to, because that was including the Falcon, the power supply, and everything. I was selling it as a kit so we could just make it all in one place.
Oh wow. Okay.
But I don't want to sell it with all that stuff. So I'm going to change the controller. It'll just be a kit for the parts minus the Falcon or minus the cult board.
Okay.
So that's the reason why that's down. That's correct though. Yeah, we had it as a kit.
Okay.
Easier to try to sell it. And then try to make people try to source all these parts. It's too bad too, because I had some really good prices on there. People missed out on some good prices on some controllers.
Yeah, I felt bad because I didn't go in and check. Oh.
Hey, Ricky, are you guys doing any discounts for this weekend or maybe longer?
We're doing discounts in the PPD group. If you're a member of PPU, we're offering discounts there. It's actually 10% off everything on our site. So
okay, so all right,
I guess
no problem.
Plug them a member.
All controllers.
That's all controllers and stuff. So yeah,
All controllers, brackets.
everything. I said these boxes because it's hard to make them look good and keep it so, because that's the other thing. Once you get them laid in here, the other thing I like to do once I get one side laid in like so, is I like to give them a little push back up, because the problem is all the fuses are under here. So when you pull these suckers tight, like everyone seems to do, you can't ever get to that fuse again. So after I straighten them out, which is what I'm almost done here, And I like to give them a little extra shove and have a little extra cable inside the box, just so you can wiggle them if you have to get a fuse out, and if you blow a fuse. And then sometimes, like this one right here is just ugly. So you just unplug them, you reroute them, and you put them back in. I'm almost happy with that. I'm not a big fan of these. I'm just gonna leave that alone. One next time. If not, I feel good.
Hopefully, he wanted it in a CG, right?
Yeah, I know we wanted to see you. We're almost done. This controller will be ready for market. We'll have a few minutes. We can go over something smaller. It's not bad. Huh?
The old guy don't take no time.
Yeah, maybe we'll look at a Colt or something. I wish I would have had a 16. If I'd known the class was going to go like this, I would have got a 16 Colt 2 and we'd have built both. And I'd have built them, I'd have been ready, and I'd have built them both really fast. 9, 10. It's like these controllers right here, you can whip these out, an hour.
Big ones take quite a bit longer.
Yeah, the big ones take me a little longer. But actually, even like the buds, those go pretty quick. I can build those in pretty good time too.
Does it take you an hour because you've been doing it for a while?
What's that?
Does it take you an hour because you've been doing it for a while? Or?
Probably, yeah. I've built a few of them. But I mean, it shouldn't take you very long. A couple hours to build one of these, really. Even if you don't, haven't built a lot, I would say.
Right.
They're pretty easy. Like so, I prefer the buds. I think there's more room in the buds. I think they're a little more user friendly, but they're just more money. I mean, this box, what's this? What's it like? $13-14 for a cable guard box versus a bud box, which is like $34. Plus, then you got to buy the glands. I mean, you don't have to, I guess. There, that's better. This is not better though. This one through here. So this is honestly the worst part, straightening these stupid cables out in these boxes.
Looks like a whole lot of fun.
And I am a little too picky, I think, sometimes. So.
Oh, piggy's good for your customers, though.
Yeah, no, it's good.
Nothing wrong with that.
No, there ain't nothing wrong with being picky. Just like things to look a certain way, lay in a certain way. Push them back in a little bit and give a little room to mess with them fuses if we have to. Okay. So, still not like it, We're gonna go with it. We're gonna quit. Don't over tighten these either. Just need them to hold. Now that's tight. And then we're gonna stick this on here. Like this. Keep that nice and neat on the side. And then let's see here. Need a new one. The last one. Let's see, it's 12 volt. So whoever gets it next knows it's 12 volt. Stickers on it. And we have an X connect. We're in test mode. Let's go ahead and tap. And ta-da!
Woohoo!
So basically what I'll do now is I'm just going to run through. I don't have an Ethernet over here to use.
Well, you do.
I do, but you won't get my computer. I'm not going to test all these. I'll make Zach do it. But look, no smoke. So this is the basic. Like I said, this is just a CG2 power supply. Nothing fancy. It's not a bad looking box. I prefer the buds. So that's that guy. And this is the kit you guys are going to win here at the end of the show. Will be, you know, the box, the things. So this is what you're going to be basically building at the end. And it's the same.
Yeah, that's
thing.
nice.
It's the same thing as this controller here. Like I said, this is just the Cadillac version of that same controller that we build a lot of. And like I said, I prefer this one. I think it's just a lot cleaner. I mean, you got the glands, everything's routed real nice and clean through the tube. This one's got the vent, like we talked about earlier. So this one has a vent, two power supplies. There's nothing else different. It's just a little more, I said, just a little more money. This uses the stacking brackets this direction with the wing nuts that I talked about with the bottom plate, which are, you know, it uses these brackets versus the side brackets. And then it uses these really cool wing nuts, Hurricane wing nuts to tighten it on. Something we found back a while ago. I get them from Home Depot. They're actually pretty cheap. And it's nice because you can just wing nut it on. You don't have to bolt it. So that's, you know, basically that same controller. Yeah, the box is sealed. Have to use that. I want to look at this guy here real quick, and I will plug. See here, Wizards of Wire. Where's his stuff at? I got one here somewhere. This little guy here. This is Wizards of Wire new receiver. Now this is just a dumb receiver. The only place you're going to get smart receivers from David Pitts. But occasionally, if you just want like a dumb receiver and power injection, that's what I really like about this guy here. Is you have your two power injection ports here, and then your four outputs here. He is changing these controllers a little bit. He's going to put this going upwards, moving forward. He has 90-degree ones, but these work really, really well. If I know I have just a single, just that one right there is fine.
This one's got 90 on it.
Oh, this one actually has 90 on it.
Yeah.
So this one actually has this 90-degree on it. But what's kind of cool about these is, like, I mean, you don't even need to wire anything. Literally, you just stick it on the screws, bolt it on, and bolt it in the box. This one he did add a hole, so you could actually hook it to the plate to make it a little more rigid. Because I did tell him when I saw it, I'm like, people are going to break these off because it sits up off the mean well. About the thickness of one of these little thin spacers that we use to build the controller. I'm like, people are going to push on this and they're going to break them off the board. But this is actually a really, for a dumb receiver, if you just need some dumb stuff, these work really well with a power injection. I like these. I mean, I don't use them. I don't use many of them, but they're really nice. And again, no wiring required for these. You know, so you can use the same backing plate. So I know Ken sells this plate, wired watts. I mean, we have it, and basically you don't need to necessarily worry about bolting a receiver on and run the wire. You can just stick this guy in here. and be done with it. But again, you don't have the smart abilities that these receivers have, which you know, a lot of people use that now, where they can go A, B, C in that design. I guess I don't really need to explain how to build one of these. These are, you know, again, pretty simple. Just the power supply, 2 little wires, and bolt the board on. There's nothing I really do special on that. I will have this kit available here, since this is the culp room. We haven't even talked about culps yet. I still have another like 20 minutes to do that. These are, this is his little 40, which is really cute. And I sold a bunch of these at the Florida Mini. People, I wasn't going to build any for the Florida Mini, but David had issues with getting Falcons with everything going on in China and everything. So I got a bunch of these, and I built a bunch, and everyone seemed to really like them. They're super compact. The only thing I'm not a big fan of that that little pocket beagle. Maybe for one, I can't solder well, so putting the headers on, you know, I got to buy them pre-headered because I'll just bridge the whole mess together. It's just I'm not good at that. So I prefer, you know, I like the other ones better. But this is a really cute little build here. Yeah, plus the other thing too with this one being a pocket beagle is you have to buy the Ethernet dongle, because there's no Ethernet port on a pocket beagle port. Oh yeah, look at that. I didn't do my what I told you guys earlier and squish the spacers on these. Yeah, these are not the right. I actually have the right size spacers up there. But we're gonna go ahead and put this one together real quick. I said this is his F40. It's really popular. It's very similar to David's F48. It's just missing a couple ports. And again, you have to run the dongle, which I have, I think, up there. I'll have Zach get me one so we can assemble this board. So this is a new kit. It uses the Bud. I think it's a 32012. Now I will tell you, this little box is like super cheap. Like Amazon, like I think it's like $12 or $14 or something like that. It's super cheap for a Bud box. It's really nice. Then I have this really cute little plate for them, and let's see if I can get them on here. Do I have one? Oh, look at that! I do have one. Oh, awesome. This is a little one. Huh? I do know how to drill this. I'm not going to drill this box, though. Yeah, we won't. I'll just show them what we do with this box. So if they want to build this one at home, I'll show them what I do with it. Yeah, I haven't drilled this box yet. So I built a pile of these for the Florida Mini, and they're cheap. What's this controller cost? It's $100 or something like that. I mean, and that's everything. I think that's with the. I'll have Zach look real quick. But the whole board with the pocket beagle already soldered, because he sells them that way. Ken sells them that way. Again, I'm not going to solder them. But built out, it's not super expensive. So you can basically go with this board and but then the only other thing too is this, you have to run FPP with this, right?
Yes.
You can't run.
No, it runs FPP on the
Okay.
video. So you can still run it with any other player.
Okay, because I know we're X scheduler people, so I weren't sure on that. But Zach said it's good. Just runs FPP. We prefer X schedule. It seems to run cleaner and nicer on our show, and I just like everything it does. So that's just, again, our opinion. So basically there's a little 40 right there. And then we found these really cute little power supplies. These are RS-15.5s. So, and they are Meanwells. That's all we use is Meanwell power supplies for everything we build. I've been asked about the bigger power supplies as far as the HPs and etc. And I'm just not going to take that responsibility of of putting a power supply that belongs in a server in your controller and have you hook it to your house. I'm cool with you taking the server and putting it on your house, but I'm not going to take that responsibility. I got enough responsibility to just run a meanwhile stuff and this other stuff. So again, that's just a Ricky opinion. So anything you get from me will have a meanwhile in it, which they have 3-year warranties. I said most everything you're going to get will be Falcon, and you know David stands behind his stuff till basically the board delaminates, falls apart, and he just great customer service from David on everything. You just can't go wrong from that. And I mean, but Cult's the same way. He stands behind his stuff. So here's this little guy right here, fully assembled on the plant. Like I said, he's not very big. A little 15.5, little 40. We do got to wire it up. So I use this really cute little thin wire here to do that because it's a little terminals down here for him. So I just got this thin stranded wire coiled it just because it kind of looked cooler. And yeah, I mean, you can get it from I think this probably came from Amazon. So Amazon's like my hero on some stuff. So I just kind of run it up underneath like this. It looks a little cleaner. We're gonna want to go here, and then we're gonna have to curl over like this. So we'll just go ahead and cut him off like that. I'm not gonna actually finish this hook up on this one, but so we hook that up there and that up there. And then normally what I'll do with this guy is we're gonna plug, because again, like I told you, you got with a pocket deal, you got to run this guy. And he'll sit up here like this, and I'll put him in after we screw it down, because I'm gonna kind of like double stick tape it over here to the box to kind of make it a little cleaner. But since this box is not drilled yet, I'm not gonna do that. But what I'll do is I basically, for this box, I'll do just like the CGs, is I'm gonna put 2 1-inch connectors right out through the bottom, right here and right here. So anybody who gets it can just run their Ethernet cables right in and just plug them right in directly. And then out the side, on the side of this box here, I actually put the an Ethernet connector here, the pass-through ones like you guys saw earlier, so you can plug it into this guy here and have Ethernet. I know that you can do wireless too, but again, I'm not a wireless fan. I just had too many problems. Our show is just too big. So I just don't. You can plug a wireless card in it if you want. It's just not going to come that way. It's going to come with this. It's going to come with an Ethernet cable and pass through the LAN here. And then I'll run the power cable up through with the 2 connectors. And then this whole little guy fits in this little box, just like that. Like I said, I mean, space conservative, you'll see how small it is. I mean, it's just tiny. So it's a cute little F40 box. I mean, compared to the 48, I mean, the 48 is basically the size of the box. So you could get this in here as well, except for the power. You have to figure out how to, or just go with a barrel plug up into it would be fine. But you know, it's, for this particular application, this works really well compared to the 48 size. I wish this was just a smaller profile, a little bit smaller. But I mean, for these, pretty much we build these in. Most time these go in 1500s, as much as I hate it. That's kind of what we do with that. I'm just, go grab me a 48 with a receiver in it, please. It's already built. I'll show you guys the 48 with a receiver that we built quite a few of. Is there any other box we haven't really covered? Oh, I'll show you guys a kind of cool looking box. I built some of these before. These are actually for sale if anybody wants them. I'll show you these. So this would be a 48. I do a bunch of these. So like I told you, you're gonna get the 2 1-inch connectors to run your Ethernets through. And then I put a 3/4 because I'm running pigtails out, because they basically want 48 and a receiver in it. So that way when they park the 48, they're having outputs and they're not wasting a whole box. So again, it's 12 volt. We put a buck converter in it. to go from 12 to 5 volt to power up this guy. And then I just put a receiver in it. It's going to plug into port 1. And then from there, the rest of this will just sit like this. And again, we run the pass through. This will be the main Ethernet to here. And then all the ones for the receivers will go into here. So that's kind of the 48. If you're going to get a 48 without all this, I have a little power supply. I use this guy right here. It's a smaller one. It's a little, it's a 55. And that one would go here. And then the board would sit right here. Another option for a CG. Pretty simple. You have that guy back. So I built these guys for the Florida main as well. I actually didn't sell them. They're kind of crazy boxes. This is a 3218, and this is actually a Colt board. So, oh, the sun's coming in the window here. So this is an 8 with a 4-port on it in a bud box. So basically, you end up with 7 outputs that you can do long range out the side on this box. So it's kind of crazy. So you can do 7. You can do 7 dumb or be 7 times 3 smart receivers. Right, 21. Yeah, you do 21 smart receivers or 7 dumb receivers out this. Plus you have your 8 locals. This was kind of a crazy build. We just built a few of these to bring to Florida. So I'm going to sell them off, but that's the Culp 8A. It don't have, no, it's a B, whatever. I don't know. I can't remember. There's too many of them. And then I built
That's
this
really
too
cool
for fun as well. And this guy is this one is an 8, and I put a 16 on top of it. So basically, you have all these locals, 24 locals plus 3 remotes. So this is kind of a crazy box too. And this is in a bud box, stacked up, 3 power supplies. Yeah, we built, and we were just seeing what we could build in the Culp family.
So you could pretty much build just about anything, any combination, depending on the size of the box.
Yeah. We have a lot of selection. We're actually getting ready to build a couple bigger ones. We're building some 32L34s, which are super big controllers.
Okay. I'm going to interrupt you and see if anybody has any final questions for you.
Yeah,
We got about 4 more minutes, and then we can do the raffle drawing. Is that cool?
Sounds good to me.
Does anybody have any questions for Ricky?
Yeah, Ricky, quick question. You had the buck converter on the F48. The F16 is the only one that I have, and it can be powered by 12 or 5. Is the F48 only powered by 5?
Yes, correct.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
I have more questions. Like, I know it weren't all Culp building. We ended up building a Falcon, but kind of give you a good idea on a ready to run. We went over quite a bit of stuff. I hope there was some information in there that was decent.
Well, that was excellent. I learned a lot. I loved it. So I think you were awesome.
Yeah, great job.
Can you repeat all that, Ricky?
Yeah, just
From the top.
Just come on over, Kendall.